Was it like the end of the world?
Yeah, I know you weren't here during that time, so I could walk down Second Road. And I know some people watching this probably were here. I could walk down Second Road in the middle of the road, and 98% of businesses, even the 7-Elevens, were all shuttered, closed. Nothing was open at the peak of COVID. And the peak of COVID here was different. In 2020, we shut for 3 months, and they tried something. And by the way, this does relate to your question about somebody living with me. I'll get back to that. Um, so in the peak of COVID, for 3 months in 2020, we shut down, as I said, on St. Patrick's Day of 2020, March 17th. And we reopened 3 months later because Thailand tried COVID zero, like Australia tried and China and a couple other places, where they were hoping to keep it out till it went away worldwide. Spoiler, that didn't happen. We eventually had to deal with it. As I said from the start, I was never a fan of COVID zero.
Mm.
But we reopened for a little bit after. Um,
COVID
after
zero was just
COVID
shut
zero
everything.
was hard shutting of borders, quarantine for 3 weeks for
Yeah.
anybody coming in hotel rooms, etc. And anybody who caught COVID had to be quarantined for weeks, trying to keep it out of Thailand entirely.
Yeah.
At first they thought it was a good idea because in 2020 we reopened in like July, and people were watching, including in the UK, were watching videos of us from the UK and US where all the bars and nightclubs and everything was shut down. Thailand was one of the only places in the world at that time, and it was a cool time to be here, to be fair, that the clubs and bars were open, but nobody could get in. Some people literally went through the agony of 3-week quarantines to get into Thailand because their home country, they thought this would go on for years. It did. But then comes the bad news. So yeah, we were open. It was cool. Bars were open, but there was nobody here.
Mm.
And going back to, I could walk down Second Road because this is in 2021. I could walk down Second Road and feel like I was Will Smith and I Am Legend, that I was the only living person around and there was nothing else open and no traffic, no cars, nothing.
Mm.
Because at the end of January in 2021, COVID finally broke out here because of mainly migrants coming over the border illegally, which they were always warned, no matter how tight their quarantine was, that was going to be the problem. And it was.
Mm.
So finally, 6 months after the rest of the world, Thailand caught COVID badly,
Mm.
same as Australia. And so we shut down again in 2021, just as the rest of the world was opening. And Thailand stayed shut down from February of 2021 till basically December of that year. Bars were closed almost the entire year. And they were constantly opening and closing and reopening malls and restaurants, etc. In the middle of summer, a lot of expats left. They went back because then the UK, etc., was starting to open again. You guys got over the